At this time, 30 minutes after a public meeting of Parliament should have started, I wish to establish the members of Parliament present for this meeting. I ask the Secretary General to establish the members of Parliament present.
MP Siddharth Bijlani. Present. MP Chanel Brownbill.
Present.
MP Theodore Heiliger.
Present.
MP Luc Mercelina.
Present.
MP Franklin Myers.
Present.
President Sarah Westcott Williams.
Present. We have 6 members of Parliament. We have present. We have received notification from the members Christopher Emmanuel, MP Doran, who is on a parliamentary working visit, MP Artwell Irian, MP Silveria Jacobs, MP Bryson, who is on a parliamentary work visit, and MP William Allen. From those persons, notice of absence have been received. Currently, the Parliament of St. Martin consists of 13 members. In order for a public meeting of Parliament to take place, we would need at least 7 members of Parliament present. From the names of those present, it has been established that there are only 6 members of Parliament present at this time, and as such, a meeting of Parliament cannot be held for this purpose. The purpose for this meeting would have been the examination of credentials and admission of members of Parliament. All documentation for the examination of the credentials of Tamara E. Leonard and Claude A. H. Peterson have been received and should be examined by, as is established by law, a committee of Parliament in a public meeting. As mentioned earlier, this public meeting cannot take place, so I will hereby close this gathering of Parliament, and it is my intention to convene a next meeting of Parliament with the same agenda point, examination of credentials and admission of members of Parliament, at 12 p.m. today. This gathering of Parliament is hereby closed, but before I close the gathering, I will allow MP Heiliger to make a point.
Good morning, first of all, Madam Chair, and good morning to my fellow colleagues, Khifir, and everyone listening as well. Madam Chair, while I know that this is not an open bar of gathering because of the amount of signatures that are in attendance today, I just wanted to ask a question, because now we're more or less as a gathering, but we're a gathering among the MPs here. Has this situation ever happened before? So I would like to know what could be the ramifications of not approving the the credentials of the new members of Parliament. Thank you.
MP Theodore Heiliger, to respond, as far as my recollection goes, I do not recall a member or a meeting of Parliament to approve credentials of members, of incoming members of Parliament, that such a meeting has not taken place. To my recollection, once again, I don't recall that taking place. The ramifications of this meeting not taking place could be quite serious, and I will be discussing the process going forward with, if necessary, the members of Parliament and other persons that are or should be consulted in a situation like this. No, to my recollection, not. This meeting was only for the approval of credentials of 2 members who have been duly vetted, so to speak, to assume their seat as a member of Parliament. I mentioned the 2 persons, and this became necessary when 2 sitting members of Parliament were appointed as ministers. The positions of ministers and members of Parliament cannot be held simultaneously unless you were a minister and was appointed a member of Parliament, was elected a member of Parliament. In a situation like that, like we had in the case of Minister Emily, then that person who was a minister and was elected member of Parliament can occupy those 2 positions for no longer than 3 months. And I add this to your question, MP Heiliger, just for general information to the public, especially to understand, because I am sure the question would be there as to, but how come, amongst others, Minister Emily was able to hold a dual function, and now it is separate. Once you have been appointed as minister, even in fact before you're swearing in as minister, you need to relinquish the position of member of Parliament, because those 2 cannot go together in that situation. So with that, MP Heiliger, as I said, this matter would be further discussed and looked at, and I hope to have more clarity for members of Parliament within short, but in the meantime, this meeting will be called again for this agenda point. Thank you, members of Parliament. Thank you to those tuned into this meeting and this gathering, tuned in for this meeting, and this gathering is hereby closed.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Tell them, connecting you.
The CFT board has visited St. Martin this week. As is usual the case during the visits of the Board of Financial Supervision to St. Martin and Curaçao, meetings were held with the Governor, the Minister of Finance, the Council of Ministers, and the Parliamentary Committee of Finance. TFT also met with different stakeholders, such as SZV, the Tax Office, and the General Audit Chamber. The St. Martin member of the Steering Committee and with parties involved with reconstruction. It was the second visit of CFT after the devastating hurricanes Irma and Maria in September. We acknowledge again the extraordinary circumstances in St. Martin, but also the strong ability of the people to rebuild their country. We have had an intensive discussion with the new Minister of Finance, Mr. Geerings, and his staff, and also with the Cabinet, in which we spoke about several issues. Let me start with get the economy rolling again. It's very important to restart the economy again. A recent IMF report projects that real GDP in 2080 contracts by 8.5%. But importantly, also projects that real GDP will be positive again in 2090 with 2%, just above its structural level of 1.9%. They hereby assume that cruise passenger arrivals will recover to pre-Irma levels. The reconstruction of the airport, which is a critical gate of entrance for tourists and business, is crucial in this respect. This is not only in the interest of Sint Maarten, but also, for example, for Seba and Sint Eustatius. Of course, also the World Bank administrated reconstruction funds, to which the Dutch government has pledged 470 million euros, plays a vital role in restarting the economy of Sint Maarten. As said this week, we have had several conversations on this fund, and the coming weeks and months will be crucial to get the several identified projects going. I cannot stress the importance of get the economy rolling again enough. A boost in economic activity will have a positive influence on government finance, and the deficit will shrink. I come now to the budget. Regarding the 2080 budget, we once again expressed our concerns regarding the precocious liquidity position and the current deficit. Sint Maarten will be in need of additional liquidity soon to meet its financial obligation, and therefore a request by the government is sent to the Kingdom Council of Ministers. And we also have advised the Council in these. Despite the difficult situation, it's important to take measures to achieve a balanced budget, again, as soon as possible. With this, we refer to our opinion that Sint Maarten should limit the budget deficit as much as possible. Cost-cutting measures, as for example reducing inefficiencies in processes and procedures, broadening the tax base, and an increased tax compliance are of utmost importance to achieve this. During a visit to SXM, their experience with improving compliance was shared with us, and we were impressed by that. We also asked for attention for the sustainability of the pension and the healthcare system, also due to an aging society. And in that respect, the importance of the pension system reform for the budget 2019 should be stressed as well, as premium can be lowered from 25% to 18%. I come now to financial management. Important efforts were made by Sint Maarten to present various budgetary documents in the last few months, although most of these documents were sent to the CFT after the deadline. Not only was the budget 2018 finally signed off by the governor, Also the report on the second half of 2017 and the report regarding the first quarter of 2018 were received by the CFT. The annual accounts for 2013 until 2016, however, are still due. Although St. Martin succeeds in decreasing the backlog in financial reporting, financial management still falls short, which is also directly reflected in the poor quality of the country's financial statements. Also, the IT problems, which were also there before Irma, continues. We stress the importance of technical assistance in this regard, since St. Martin has not been able to improve financial management and solve the IT problems on its own. We were informed that St. Martin is indeed working on additional capacity to address these issues, but it has yet to be realized. The necessity improving the budgetary cycle remains important in order to improve the quality of these reports and to substantiate the liquidity needs for 2018. As CFT, we will be back in October 2018. Some changes in the CFT should be mentioned. Sibylla Dekker stops on July 1st, and Henk Kamp will be her successor. Maria Plans stops on October 1st, and the procedure for her successor is ongoing. I thank the ladies for their great efforts for the CFT. Thank you for your attention.
People all across St. Martin are switching to a more rewarding experience. The WIB MasterCard Fun Miles credit card, better known as My Card. Earn 1 Fun Mile for every $2 spent, even abroad and online. This will quickly get you a ton of Fun Miles to redeem for travel, shopping, food, fuel, and much more. But there's more to My Card. Worldwide acceptance, an EMV chip for extra security, and 250 free Fun Miles with first use. Switch to My Card today at WIB.
Fun miles, from within your reach.
Tell them, connecting you.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
1,
2,
3,
4. This is how common it is to develop a mental illness. 1 out of every 4.
4,
4.
4. But there is hope. Today, most mental illnesses can be managed and treated. Visit your general doctor if you feel concerned about your thoughts and behaviors or have some difficulty dealing with some of life's issues.
If you have been diagnosed and are suffering from a mental illness, keep in mind these 4 points to help you manage your mental health.
1. Get regular checkups with your general doctor.
2. Stay on your treatment plan to prevent relapses.
3. Find a strong support group in your family and friends.
And 4. Never be afraid to ask for help and look out for the warning signs of your illness.
Remember, you are not alone. We are as close as one.
2.
3.
4.
Learn about mental health illness by going to the Mental Health Foundation's website at www.mhf-sxm.com.
you mentioned in your opening statement that you're going to continue the work of former Minister Ferrier. One of the things you have mentioned, though, that is a little bit either building on or contradictory to, is that before leaving office, Minister Ferrier and the Council of Ministers, the former one, approved a package of measures for 34 measures, cost-cutting measures, and now you've said in your opening statements that you're going to look for even more. Do you feel that that package of measures didn't go far enough, or do you yourself feel or see things that are not reflected there?
Yes, those cost-cutting measures were approved in the COM. That still needs to be processed towards implementation. But what I was referring to, maybe there's where the confusion occurred, is that besides those very physical measures, you can also look at measures within your organization, and that those have to do with more efficiency. You know, how do you make use of the government's cars? How do you purchase your goods? You know, those are very there's a lot of things that you could do and a lot of things that you could achieve with that. So you have to think in those type of measures. It's just to make the apparatus, the government apparatus, more efficient in their performance. Because I believe that if you take a serious look at that not only the logistics of everything that we are doing, but it will enhance the performance by departments, but also the personnel by itself. I said it is achieving more with less. You know, we all know that we have workhorses and we have those who take everything for granted. And it's time that we seriously take a look at that as well. You know, we know that we have people on the payroll who do not show up for work or who are not placed in a function. Those are all measures that we can take and we must take to make sure that we are not spending money that we cannot account for. I have a job to do and I can be held accountable, and that's the job that we are going to do. And definitely it is not my intention to burden the people further with all kind of other measures or things, but it's all about efficiency. And take decisive measures, because entering into this building, you know, you already come across, yes, these are decisions that are there for years, nobody dares to take it. Well, it's about time that we start taking those decisions.